You are listening to The Diary of a Wannabe Writer, presented by Richard A. Boxshall, in which I chronicle my life and attempts to become a professional writer by, doing some writing daily, hopefully. Hello and welcome to the Diary of a Wannabe Writer. It's Tuesday the 11th of June. Sorry I didn't do a podcast when I said I would yesterday. I was still feeling a little melancholy with everything that's happened recently, and I was also quite tired. So I'd done 2 long-haul flights in 2 days, which is unusual. That doesn't happen very often. Most of our trips are 3 days. Even when we're doing 2 long-haul flights, so you get 24 hours off in the middle. But this one was in New York, where we left on... let me get this right, Saturday morning and arrived home Sunday evening. But I feel a little bit better today, and it is fully my intention to do a bit of work today, maybe do a live stream. I'm doing this first as a sort of mission statement, really, because normally I do the podcast during the live stream, but I'm going to try and do this now and then crack on with the live stream. So yes, what am I going to be doing today? Well, hopefully the paper sign-off of chapter 27 of Empress of the Trees. I'm now not at work for a fortnight. Well, I say a fortnight. Yesterday was the first day, so there are another 12 days after today. And I really would like to try and get this Empress of the Trees draft not finished, but certainly get to the point where I can write some new material. So I think I have another 6 chapters. 27, 28, 29, 30. I can't remember, because I did actually end up splitting one chapter into 2. So the numbers are slightly off in my head, but I think I've got, including the one I want to sign off today, I think I've got a further 6 chapters to do, which is quite doable in 2 weeks. So that means do a paper read through on one day, and then do the screen read through on one day and a paper sign off the other day. And occasionally, if I'm in the mood for it, I might do more than one writing session a day. But yes, it fully is my intention to do some live streaming today. I think on my website it says I'm going to do it at 10 or 11 o'clock. Whether I'm going to make that precise time, I don't know, but I'm going to do something today, I think. The other thing I'm managing to do, so I haven't read much for the last couple of weeks. So again, when I'm struggling with motivation, when I'm down basically, because things have happened in the last month or so have made me a bit down, I struggle to read as well. And the last couple of days I've actually read a bit, which is quite nice. So I talked a little while back about my lovely Terry Pratchett hardbacks. Well, I was struggling to read at that point, but I finished the book I was reading then, which was Pyramids. And this morning I started the next book in the Discworld series, Guards, which actually I found Pyramids not that interesting a read. It was quite, I don't know how to describe it, but it wasn't that engaging, whereas I've just read the first 60 pages of Guards, and it's made me laugh, but I'm actually interested in what happens next. So the other book I'm reading at the moment, which I will finish today, because I sometimes multi-book. Yes, I do. I'm a bloke and I can multi-book. I've got some lovely Folio Society editions of some of the Roald Dahl novels. And I've been reading one every month or so, and I started reading Danny, the Champion of the World today, which I absolutely remember my dad reading to me when I was a kid. And it's a very interesting little book, because basically it's about poaching, but it's kind of making it out to be a noble art and a protest against, evil landowners who treat people badly. And it's a very interesting premise for a children's book. I presume it was written in the 70s, because there's a bit in the text which suggests it's approximately either late 70s or early 80s. But it does feel like you wouldn't get away with writing a kid's book about doing something as illegal as poaching now, and there's a bit where Danny's dad goes off saying, I'll be back at 10:30 tonight, son, I'm just going to go and do a bit of poaching, all that, and he's not back by 10:30, so Danny drives this car that's in for repairs, because his dad runs a little garage, so he drives this little car that's in for repairs to 6.5 miles up the road to the woods where his dad's poaching to rescue him. And it's like, yeah, I mean, it's great. It's a really interesting story, and in the real world, the kid had been taught to drive because he used to drive the cars around the forecourt and stuff. So in the real world, it would probably happen if that was a kid. He's worried about his dad and he's got to go 6.5 miles. He probably would use the car, but particularly if he knew how to drive, which in the story he does. But it's it's all sorts of morally ambiguous, which is probably why I'm enjoying it so much. So that's my plan today. I'm going to do a little bit of writing, a little bit of reading, probably quite a bit of reading actually, because Guards is highly enjoyable. And then the other thing I'm going to do today is nip into a local town where a Blu-ray I have ordered has arrived. So there are some Doctor Who stories that are missing. Basically, the BBC didn't think anybody would be interested in the old black and white stuff. And in the early 70s, possibly even the 80s, though, they junked a load of tapes of classic episodes because they thought nobody would be interested in them. They weren't going to be able to repeat them. The home DVD and video market didn't exist at that point. Anyway, so the long and short of it is there's about 80 episodes of Doctor Who from the original first 6 years, all black and white, that are totally missing. But there were fans of the show that would record the audio on home setups. And so we've got the audio of every single Doctor Who episode, including the missing ones. And what they've started doing, initially the audio was restored for audio release, originally cassettes and then CD. And so even though these were sometimes recorded by somebody sticking a microphone next to a speaker, they've managed to restore them so they sound like really good, pristine audio quality. And what they've been doing is they've been animating the missing stories. So what they initially did was the stories that were completely missing when there was no footage in existence. But they've done most of those now, and now they're doing the stories where some episodes exist. And the very first Doctor Who, I'm going to talk about Doctor Who animated stuff now, sorry. The very first Doctor Who animated story, I think, was produced quite a while back. There was an 8-part Patrick Troughton story called The Invasion, which featured the Cybermen, and 2 episodes were missing. So they could release it on DVD. They animated the missing 2 episodes. And they kind of built virtual sets that were similar to the sets that you could see in the other 6 episodes, so they didn't jar too much. And so they initially started just by animating missing episodes. There's another Cyberman story called The Moonbase, which 2 of the episodes exist, 2 of them don't. So they did that, and they animated the missing 2, and they did something similar with a story called The Ice Warriors. And then more recently, they started animating stories that had no episodes left. And they kind of decided, I think initially they were quite faithful to the design of the original show. So they took, again, photographs and did, virtual set design for the cartoons using the original layouts and designs of the rooms. And then there came a point where I thought, well, we don't need to do that. We can just, as long as the visuals fit the audio, we don't have to, do the original set design and stuff. So the more recent ones have been a little bit more taking liberties with what was seen on screen. And we finally have released today a story called The Celestial Toymaker, which, from the looks of the clips, bears zero resemblance to what was seen on screen. There's been a bit of flack from that, actually. It's a different animation style to what they've used before. Anyway, it's out on Blu-ray yesterday, I think. And I've ordered a copy, and I'm going to go and collect it today. But it's quite an interesting one, because the Celestial Toymaker is the character, the Toymaker, who appeared in one of the David Tennant 60th anniversary specials. So yeah, sorry, I didn't intend this to be a diatribe on me talking about Doctor Who and the missing episodes and stuff. But hey, at least I'm doing a podcast. As I say, 3 days off is the most I've ever had. It was most I've ever had before that was 2. But hopefully I'll be a little bit more motivated. I don't know what I'm doing completely with my fortnight off yet. I might even go away for a few days, somewhere, I don't know, just to book a last minute little holiday at a campsite or a cottage or something. Anyway, but that's me. Thank you for listening. Hopefully I'll be back to doing this daily. I do feel a little more upbeat than I did before. I mean, I was so low the last 3 days. I just couldn't think of anything to talk about and didn't want to just basically whinge about how shit I was feeling. So, but no, I feel a bit better today, and maybe catch people on the live stream later on. Mind you, they'll probably listen to this after I've done the live stream. I'll shut up and go away and go and get my DVD and do some reading. But thank you for listening. I'll be back at some point tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye. You have been listening to The Diary of a Wannabe Writer, presented by Richard A. Boxall. Thank you for tuning in to my random ramblings, and if you'd like to know more about me or my projects, visit my Linktree at linktr.ee/Richard Wright, capital R, capital W. Thank you for listening.